Hello everyone, Raven here. I was debating what I was going to do on this video because I stopped and I was thinking maybe I should go into what I think will happen instead of going into what I'd hope, and actually look at the possibilities for Mass Effect 5 as far as what is most likely. As I started to think about that, my first thought was that the character we see in the N7 armor, my biggest suspicion is that that is not our character, and that isn't truly the antagonist. I think that's going to be a sort of new Kai Lang kind of thing. Comes after you a little more often, that you face more often, but isn't really your true nemesis. But as soon as I thought about that, I realized, you know what? What would be even more fun than what I think will happen? Let's go into what I hope does not happen. So I'm going to throw at you today a few wild ideas that I think could be fun for a whole different reason. Because I don't think they'll happen. I hope they don't happen, and I bet a lot of you would hope there's no way they'd go this direction. So get ready, because some of you might get scared, some of you might get upset, and trust me, I know how you feel. So number one, what if they mimic the Citadel DLC? There are two things people bring up a lot that I've heard. One is that maybe this N7 character is Shepard, and very few really think that's the case. And then some think, well, what if this is actually your opponent, your nemesis? But what I haven't heard people think yet, what if it's both? What if what happened with your clone in the Citadel DLC, they saw how popular that DLC was and decided to take the idea further? Terrible idea, I know, but I wouldn't put it past them. But imagine that's what happens here. Imagine this time around there is no true Shepard, and the only Shepard you have in the game is this clone who becomes your opponent, becomes the enemy of this. Shepard changes from the hero to the villain. I would say the idea in and of itself isn't terrible. I don't like it, and I especially don't like it given the DLC we've already had. But if done well, I could see how it could have worked if it hadn't already been done. But not just because of that, also because we've already seen Shepard brought back, in a way, far more than once. So I don't think so. But imagine where this would go with the story. And I know, it would just set off a lot of fireworks if they did this and it comes out and the people who don't know yet find out. Oh boy, I'm sure the fury would be unquenchable. The second possibility. What if this N7 character we've seen is hardly anybody? What if it's just some character that shows up at one point in the game, or maybe the start of the game, and that's it? For example, what if this is at the beginning of the whole game, and you go out on a sort of mission, but you're not in the lead on this mission. It's somebody else, and it's this N7 character, and you don't get your role until after this, and they're taken out during the mission. It's a very common way to start this kind of story. What if that's the case? How would people feel if they found out this mysterious character of this preview was nothing but an introductory character? That's it. Once the story gets started, they're gone. That might not be quite as bad if they, start showing us stuff before the release, because then people would just shake their heads at it, but would kind of depend on how long they try to keep this Believable. Another possibility. And this is the one where I'm going to go out there and say, what is the absolute worst possible thing they could do that would really piss people off? What would really make people ticked off with BioWare? Well, this last idea, this character is Shepard, but Shepard takes that kind of role. Or just the leader in the first mission. But the main character, the one you play as, isn't Shepard. And what if, in this mission, Shepard dies? But not in a good way, just maybe makes a huge mistake, fumbles, whatever it may be. And then you have to take the lead. As I said, absolute worst possibility. I really hope this is impossible. I think it's impossible, but it's hard to say it, to claim it, because these video game companies are really good at proving us wrong when we say things like that it couldn't be any worse. But this one, it would take a lot of stupidity to take it that direction. But that, if anything, could cause an uproar in almost every fan. That would do it. Now, how about some of the wild theories that are more not likely, but I see as more of a possibility? One I've heard that is not that common and very few would actually believe is, what if this figure is Shepard's daughter? Hard to believe that. Hard to think of it that way. Highly doubt it. Don't think there's any way they do it. But could it work? If they found a way to do that, could it work? I think so. However, to make it work, they'd have to just keep that whole thing of it being Shepard's child and just put that on the side. It's like it's this little bit of the codex almost, and it doesn't really have much to do with the story. And it's only going to affect little hints here and there within some of the dialogue, but that's it. If they kept it to a bare minimum, okay, I could see how that might work, and it might be a way to kind of please some of the old fans who expect Shepard, because then you've got ways you can easily sort of hint at Shepard throughout the story and feel like you really are following along their story without making them too prominent. So I could see a benefit to it if it doesn't have too big of an effect on it. Now, a final idea. Something I want to throw out there that I don't think is the case in the least bit. I see as extremely unlikely. But because of something some people have thrown out there that I think is extremely ridiculous, and taking that idea and thinking about it a little bit more. People ask, what if it's Liara in the N7 outfit? No. It just doesn't fit. The Asari wouldn't be in that. That doesn't fit them right. It doesn't act that way, and it's N7. But if you're going to go that route, if you want to think, could this be an alien species and not human? Think about the most closely humanoid aside from the Asari. If you think that way, what is the other one that's a possibility? Though extremely unlikely, possible. A Drell. Perfect for an assassin. No, I don't think so. But I see that as far more likely than Liara. Because I don't see how you can say that's an Asari. But a Drell, that might fit. Now imagine that for a moment. Let's say, taking this wild road. What if this is the antagonist or a sense of an antagonist? We may finally get to see what is a female Drell. I think that could be really neat. I think that could be a lot of fun. Again, I don't think this is the case. I see this as one of the least likely. But if that's the case, I think it would be a blast. I think that could be a fun way to go with this. Fun character to add into the story. Because it would show us something we haven't gotten to see. Much of anything like this. So it would be a very unique character. And hopefully they could do this better than Kylak. So yeah, I don't think any of these would be the case. Some of them terrify me. Some of them could be fun. Some of them could work if careful, but I don't think any of them are the case. So I want to know, which do you think would be the worst? What would be the absolute worst thing they could do with this N7 character they've shown us? Not just of what I've listed here. What else can you think of that might even be worse than these? I'd like to know. I'll see you guys next mission. God bless.